TV. It just plays TV on
You're
TV.
not paying attention again.
Am I on? Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Welcome. We're back on the ICC podcast stage. We are live with Jeffrey Cantor.
Cantor.
Jesus, I even asked him about it. Oh my God. I am.
Wait, let me just take my. Sorry, I had a mask on. It's Cantor. Like, how did you get that wrong?
Because.
No, go ahead, because you were nervous.
I am nervous.
No, you're nervous.
Yeah, I'm very
look
nervous.
You see this? I can see why you'd be nervous because this is hot shit.
Stop. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
It was a pleasure until he got my name wrong.
You're correct. You're not the first one. I did Mark Dodson too last night.
What'd you call him?
Mark Dodd. And I had like 3 hours of sleep. And I'm like, so we have Mark Dodd. There's a son somewhere in here.
We have Mac Dodd here. No, you don't.
This one, I'm excited to do this interview, and thank you again for giving us some time today to come on. We've been talking about the Star Wars universe a lot this weekend. We can now get to talk about the Marvel universe.
Thank God.
No
offense to Star Warsians
and
everywhere.
I can tell you right now, I know Disney has started. They're all Disney Plus and starting shows.
Sure.
But Marvel's Daredevil is the beginning of good Marvel television.
It would be impossible for me to disagree with you.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
Because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you did not do it. It didn't start until right here where Daredevil on Netflix is where real Marvel could come out of the comic books.
Well, I think what happened with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is they didn't know what the possibilities were, right? So comic books are really for kids.
Right.
And you know, the adults who like them still like that. There's a heightened reality and a sort of bubblegum quality, especially the DC universe, that has an audience, that has millions of viewers and readers. And I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was the doorway drug, if you will. It's like they had to test the waters and they had to see how popular that would be. Daredevil was a risk.
It really was. If you think about it, it really was especially that first episode. I mean, when they heard the first episode that he wasn't getting the suit, because they didn't really announce it until the last one, and people were like, well, what's Daredevil without the suit? Because not many of them know about the black hooded Daredevil, and so kids would have been I only know him as the Red Devil with the suit, and it was very.
But it wasn't meant for kids, you know.
No.
I mean, it was the first time I think that what I found so interesting was my character is not in the comic books in the first place, and so they were, I think, they were good with the source material, but they didn't use it as sort of this Bible to which you had to adhere. And they were really exploring. They weren't exploring the life. They were using the superhero for what they were meant for, which was to explore the human condition. And I think Daredevil did it remarkably well. I mean, you're looking at a hero who is reluctant. You're looking at a hero with a disability. You're looking at a hero who has no superpowers. I mean, he's got an enhanced, senses, but it's not like he's not.
He can't fly.
He can't fly. His skin is penetrable. He's not super strong. It's like so the suspension of disbelief for an audience is not. You don't need that much required suspension of disbelief, and he's a lawyer, but he's also a vigilante. And how do you balance that? And he's a Catholic, and good and bad, and right and wrong. And so you're dealing with issues that are not. I mean, kids, sure, but these are adult issues. And I thought. Especially season 1, the whole introduction of it, and so, and they captured I think the essence of what Daredevil was. They also captured an audience that was going. I mean, look, everybody who is a Marvel fan was going to watch this.
Oh, of course.
But I can tell you, and I think this is what the brilliance was about joining with Netflix is Netflix fans of other shows came to Marvel because of Daredevil.
Totally, 100% agree. Now, your character is not in the Marvel.
No.
Is not in the Marvel comics.
No,
universe.
he's in one comic actually. I've seen the name now since we did the show. There's they did a comic like of Fisk.
Fiskin is it the Fiskin the not the one with his daughter? That's the Moon Knight and Dragon.
And I saw when I went to the offices in New York. And I have a picture of it somewhere, but there's my business card, Mitchell Ellison. And it's the only time Mitchell Ellison has appeared that I'm aware of in any comic book.
Yeah, no. When I was looking your character up, I couldn't find him either, and so I was going to ask. My question is to you: is when they approached you and you got the character. What did you go into? Because you had no source material.
No.
Mostly everyone on the show has source material that they
Everybody.
can go back and read and to get a basis line, at least a baseline of their
So
character.
here's, I mean, that's a great question. First of all, when we auditioned, I don't know, some people might have known, but I was talking to Eldon, and I don't even think he knew really what we were auditioning for.
Right.
You knew it was a big show, but I'm not a famous enough person for somebody to say, we want you to be the next whatever. I mean,
Right.
the character, I didn't even know he was going to, I didn't know what he was going to do. I just knew it was a well-written audition. So the
Right.
audition was really, my first episode was episode 3 of season 1. And my audition was that scene
Oh, the
with
one-
Urich.
Yeah.
And so when I auditioned, I was auditioning for a newspaper editor. Well, there's tons of newspaper editors out there. It was not written like a DC or even, like J.J. Jonah John.
Right.
Like it wasn't written that way. It was written more like the movie The Post, or or I did House of Cards. He's written more like there's a truth to him. He's just a newspaper editor. And so
Right.
I spent a little time, doing a little bit of research on that, but not much because I've seen those shows. So I went in and did the audition. And once I got it and they told me what it was, clearly he and Urich are best friends. And I used Urich as, if I had any source material, it was Urich. In my head, especially now that he's gone, that character's dead, it's kind of me now. So I think that's how I don't know if that was the intention, but that's sort
Right.
of how I.
That's just how you approached
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
You
yeah,
were the
yeah,
character.
yeah.
Oh, man.
But also I wasn't wedded to source material, so I had a lot more freedom.
Right. That was going to be my second question. Did you, since you didn't have the source material, did you just kind of get your own baseline and then just
Yeah.
drive it to where you want it,
Yeah.
where you want to take it?
Yeah.
And just did you have to like throw some things at them, or did you have to go, hey, this is how I see the character?
No,
this is how
no.
wanna
I
play the
got to say,
character."
I mean, the writer rooms for these. So Steve DeKnight, who's a friend of mine now, because of this show, wrote. The writing is so good. There wasn't a lot that I had to do. Season 2, I would say, because I already had found my voice, that I got to, I wouldn't say ad lib, but I got to influence some of the be a little line change just in syntax or in tone of voice or the way I
He
phrase
felt
things.
he wouldn't say that. He would say it
Right,
like
right.
this.
Or he would say it this way. He would say that, but this, and nobody ever had a problem. They so generous with me.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a, so I'm Jewish, and at the end of season 2, spoiler alert,
Spoiler alert.
it's Christmas. But as I give her bottle of scotch, I don't say Merry Christmas. I say Happy Hanukkah, because I thought, and they loved it. So all of a sudden, it's something a little. I mean, whatever.
Well, it's
that's
the
just a
little
personal
things.
thing.
I mean, you
Yeah.
now have established the character as Jewish.
Yeah.
You're throwing your own stamp
Yeah,
on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
How did you feel when you got the call to be in Punisher?
Well, it was all part of the
I mean,
same
because you're in
thing.
this one show. Did they tell you that
No,
you're
no.
going to jump?
No.
I mean, because you've been in this one show, and you're like, well, I'm in Daredevil, and then they're like, hey, would you like to come to Punisher?
Yes. So of course the answer is yay, and
because he broke out in season 2, and you're just like, he needs his own show immediately as soon as you saw John Berthold.
Well, but that had been the intention all along. I'm fairly certain the intention all along with Punisher that was planned. What I didn't know was or was not planned was me. Whether or not I'm going to be going into some of the other Defenders shows. And I mean, when I would talk to them, you need a newspaper. Yeah, we got to report all this stuff. I think you need a newspaper
Right.
all the time. And they said, you're mistaken. And but if this had continued, I have a feeling. First of all, I have a feeling after Defenders, had it continued, there would have been far more overlap. And I cannot believe if there is overlap that then you need a newspaper for the universe.
Oh,
There
I
has-
agree.
So because that's
100%.
because that's the audience's window.
I 100% agree, and I'm hoping that Kevin Feige, and I know a lot of the fans out there are hoping that Feige takes Daredevil and puts him back into the universe and does a Disney Plus show, because that show is the staple, I think, of the TV.
Well,
shows. I'm okay with Jessica Jones and the rest of the ones, but that show, like you said, gave a really good staple to New York and its own separate from like a Jonah Jameson type newspaper way that you could, you know, because everyone always thought Jonah Jameson and the Daily Bugle.
Right.
That's in the Marvel universe. If you say a newspaper, that's what you're going to say.
Right. I think we're a better paper.
I would hope
mean, just
so.
like purely objectively. If you're going to have to read anything in Hell's Kitchen, please read the New York
But,
Bulletin.
I mean, I'm
This is
hoping-
just a little plug for the New York Bulletin. Thank you very much.
I mean, because, you know, they keep telling us, well, you know, Netflix, they still have it.
They
but
don't.
Yeah, I know. It just,
Yeah,
they just
in
got
May.
it. But yeah, they just
The
got it. back.
moratorium was over. I think
Yeah.
it was in May.
And-
And I have no doubt that something's going to happen. What happens, whether I'm
I
involved.
want, I want Vincent D'Onofrio's Fisk fighting Tom Holland.
Okay, I'll let them
Spider-Man.
know.
If you could do that for me, I'd appreciate
So
it.
I'm putting a little plug in for that. So if anybody's listening and it matters, I agree. Was that good?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Jeffrey,
that,
thank
that was
you-
my special voice.
Thank you so much for joining us
My
on
pleasure.
the ICC podcast stage. I know you guys are busy and you guys
I'm
take
so
photos
busy.
and signatures, but we thank you
So
for joining us.
signatures.
So,
I'm so busy in signatures.
Why
and
do I
stuff.
even have a piece of
I don't
paper up
even
here?
know.
I have the process of throwing my paper.
That was
so you deserve one
amazing.
too.
You missed a stunt. That was a whole
And
stunt.
again, I apologize for messing up the last name, even though I asked you it right before we sat down and we went on the air and then
say it
ruined
again for me.
everything.
Please say it again.
Cantor.
Oh, baby.
Cantor.
Oh yeah.
Cantor.
Oh yeah.
Cantor!
That's what I like. Oh yeah.
Thank you for joining us, and everyone come down to the ICC Con. It's still 6 o'clock today. There's still tickets left. Fun for the kids.
I'm
Get the
still
show
here.
for it. He's still here. Come get a picture. Come get an autograph.
I'm the coolest person from Marvel here. Want to know why?
You're the only.
Yes. Thank you very much. All week, ladies and
Thanks.
gentlemen.
Have a good night. Don't forget to tip your waitress.
Thank you for being a part of our show. Please visit ecpctv.com for information about our show and how to follow us on this epic journey. Stay eclectic. End program.